Hello again, it's John Williams from MIT, and we've got a little exercise here called battleships. So here's an image of a battleship, and when I click on it, it moves. Sometimes it jumps a little, sometimes it jumps more. So let's see what's going on here. Let's take a look at this code. This is based on a schoolboy game that I used to play many years ago called Battleships, where you try and hide your battleships on the squares of the paper. You put your battleships in some squares and your opponent would put their battleships in others, and you try to find each other's battleships. So this might form the basis for a game like that if you wanted to program it. Let's take a look at the code. So the first thing is the image tag. Let's take a look here. So we've got our image is a ship.png, so there's got to be a file called ship.png, which is that image, and we're going to give it the ID battleship. And we've got a style tag and an on-click equals, this time I've called it show. Up till now we've been using run, but there's nothing special about a function called run. It can be called any function you like. So here we're going to define a function called show. So up here in the script tags, here's our function show. And what we're going to do is we're going to get hold of that image. So I create a local variable here, image1, do document get element by ID, battleship, and now I've got a hold of that image. Now because we set the style, we can get hold of that, and it just so happens that left is the number of pixels that the image will be from the left-hand boundary of the window, and top is the number of pixels down from the top that the image will be. Now in here I'm using math.random. You probably haven't seen that before, but there's a math library as part of JavaScript, and this will return a number that's between 0 and 1. Now I'm going to scale it up and multiply by 400 so that now the number is between 0 and 400. Now it's a floating point number and we need an integer. So I use math.floor, which basically just rounds down that number to an integer. Excuse me. And we do the same for the top. We round it, and now we've set the image to a new position. So every time we click, we calculate a new position for the image and it gets rendered. So that's quite neat. So maybe you can take this, make a game. Why don't you make it a random number between 0 and 500 instead of 0 and 400? Okay, that's just a little exercise for you. Okay.